everybody. We are spearfishing San Pedro again at a secret spot. And here are a couple of the fish that I got today. It is a rubber-lipped surfperch. I got a sheepshead and a rockfish. And actually on this dive, I made a couple of mistakes. I'm actually pretty ashamed of myself for one of the fish that I ended up catching. If you saw the highlight reel and you're a very experienced fisher, you already probably know what I did. It's all within, it's all legal, every fish that I got. I wasn't poaching at all, but yeah, we'll just talk about it a little bit more later. Right here, I see a couple of perch down there. It's a little bit early on in my dive. I was going to look for some cabezon maybe underneath the little shelf right there. But then I see two Garibaldi come out, and they're pretty aggressive. They nip at you when you're down there. They're really not harmful, but they're very threatening. They're just kind of bullies. And actually, I caught one of them bullying an opal eye as he ran away from me a little bit later in the video too. But yeah, here's the beginning of the dive. I'm just making my way down the jetty. Usually in the winter, it's just completely barren. There's no kelp. Just kind of overran with sea urchin. But yeah, towards like the spring, summer, it just becomes absolutely flush like this. And this is when it gets super fun. A lot of the sea life starts moving up a little bit. And it's really, I don't know, I may be just 50 yards out from the shore right now, and there's already just so much sea life. And so yeah, it's really not hard to have an awesome time here, so I'm just enjoying myself. Trying not to injure too many fish, trying to be selective, so I'm taking a look around. I see some blue perch, some half moons, some Garibaldi. And just to state kind of the obvious, the California state fish, the Garibaldi, is completely off limits. I'm going to try to do better and talk about the regulations and stuff. But yeah, I'm kind of looking around. I'm trying to see if I can find a decent-sized opal eye. Battered, they're really good. They eat kelp mostly, so their meat is a lot softer, so I just think it's a lot better for fish and chips. It's not really that flaky, so not a lot of people really enjoy it, but I really do, personally. So yeah, I see some big guys down there, so eventually I take a drop on a couple of them. And here is where the opal eye runs away from me, and immediately you see just the Garibaldi get pissed. He's just like, oh, dude, no way in hell. Chases him away. Then I start getting too close. He starts turning on me. Yeah, they're just jerks, man. And here's a little baby. I'm trying to scare him away and let him know that people aren't always awesome. And teach him to be a little afraid. I see a little school of perch coming by, but then I see a couple of calico bass underneath them. And I'm actually from Minnesota. They remind me a lot of like northerns or pike where we have them. I took a shot on them, but like I said, I don't know, I have maybe 10 feet, 15 feet of line from me to my boogie board. When I'm on solo dives, I'm really, really, really cautious. I always keep myself on my boogie board, or if I'm locking it up, then I don't know. I just make sure that I'm not down there too long. I'm not overexerting myself or anything. Here's one of the first fish I caught. It was I don't usually like to go for females for this particular reason. This has happened to me once before where, you catch them and then this is an evolutionary thing that they've adapted to. They give live births, so if there is ever an instance where the mom does get eaten or anything, she just gives birth right on the spot. The babies would have been birthed maybe like a week later otherwise, but so we just do our part. We just be grateful, and we learn from it. It seems macabre, it seems a little bit dark, but You know, a couple of those fish are going to get eaten, but a couple of them are still going to survive, and, you know, it's just the way of life. I'm probably, you know, not going to go for perch very much later on in this because, you know, the barred surf perch, the zebra perch, I like the pile perch, but, yeah, I don't know, just stuff like that, it just kind of weirds me out a little bit. Go down here. Here's my little anchor experiment that I was trying. I didn't give it enough slack, so it kind of turned on me later, but I grabbed a red sea urchin here. And I'd actually pinpointed another flaw with the board. Later on, I'm going to post a cooking video of how I decided to prepare all of this. The sea urchin I put at the very top in the dive bag that's attached to it. But the problem there is that the sea urchin, if I grab them at the very beginning of my dive, then they're sitting up there for like an hour, and they actually get spoiled. And if you go back, you actually see my board completely upright. That is exactly why you need to give it way more slack than I did. And this is just a silly mistake, but it could, you know, anything that's going against you, if the tides shift or anything, then that's not a good situation. So I make sure to unclip it, put it on my belt, and then I'm gonna go retrieve the anchor in a second here. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna try to change up my dive board situation. Maybe I'm gonna post a video on how I decided to set it up, but the dive bag is definitely gonna be underneath my board rather than directly on top of it. Just so that it doesn't spoil my fish, so that the pelicans don't get it, just for a litany of stuff, a litany of different reasons. And so here I am grabbing my anchor, and you can see like there's no kelp where the sea urchins are. This is how they're invasive. They'll just completely decimate an entire reef structure if they start not being managed, which is exactly why I'm pretty devastated with my decision later on in the video. But yeah, what I just did, I clipped it onto a piece of kelp. Way easier, way more resourceful than the anchor. And right here I stumbled upon a little meeting of the minds. We have like 3 or 4 two-spotted octopus down there just kind of talking to each other. And I'm peeking my head in and I'm saying, "What's going on, you guys?" But I don't think they like me that much. And the current pulled me away. Again, it was super strong current. So I do have one fish. I have some sea urchin. So I'm going to start making my way off to the other side of the jetty. It's kind of in an L shape, so I'm going to go on the left side of it now. But I'm going to make my way back, take my time, and see what I can see. And rockfish are in season right now, so I see this guy chilling underneath the ledge there. I go for the shot, and I land him. And rockfish is delicious. There's so many different types of them. This one in particular, if you look at it, it has kind of like an olive-ish tone, kind of even reddish almost, and it's camouflage. Not to be confused with the olive rockfish off to the right over there. It does not have a dark spot on the operculum, and it does not have the yellower fin. So, in my opinion, this is a kelp rockfish, or a grass rockfish. And the downside of the Hawaiian sling here is that, if you see his head there, it does a little bit of collateral damage when you take it out. But yeah, I've had my eye on a brand named Ocean Ammo. They have some amazing guns, and they actually seem pretty affordable. So I might upgrade to that and have my eye set on some bigger fish. But for right now, I think the Hawaiian sling is a fair fight. I've been doing it for a couple of years, and this is a California sheepshead. When it was right in front of me, I could have swore that it was a little bit bigger than it was, but as I was pulling it up, if you can hear, I'm actually pretty ashamed with myself. It was within the legal limit. It was a little over 12 inches in total length, But like I was saying earlier, with the sea urchins taking over and destroying the kelp, the California sheepshead are actually one of our only defenses in cleaning up the sea urchin so that the kelp can thrive. And so, I mean, it is legal, but it does take some second thought to whether or not you should be grabbing them or not. And so yeah, it's kind of a fun fact, but these are actually protogenous hermaphroditic fish. So they start their life as females, and then at about 4 to 7 years of age, or 12 to 14 inches in length, if they have to, if there's no presence of a dominant male in the reef structure, then they will become a male. So here's me trying to make amends with the other sheepshead in the reef and saying I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it again. The bag limit is 2 on them, but yeah, I don't know. It becomes more of like an ethical issue with me. So I took my one, and I'm probably not going to go after any more sheepshead for a while here unless they're males in pretty good size. So yeah, this here is a mole crab, or also known as a sand flea, and it's unusually big. So I slowed it down there, and it actually had some pinchers on it, and I don't know, I've never seen one that big before. I thought that was really interesting. And I'm on the other side of the jetty now, where I'm greeted by little baby fish and a bunch of kelp crab. In my last video, if you remember me saying I don't usually want to go for the mamas so that I can let them have their babies. Yeah, it could even be that the one that I let go, that could have been her babies. It's a fun thought. It's a fun concept. And the kelp crab, when they get bigger and they get a little bit more red, they are absolutely delicious. I cannot wait to show you guys some kelp crab later on in the summer. Yeah, just another perfect video to further my point. That was just 3 sea urchins fighting over one small piece of seaweed that was left. So gives you kind of an idea of exactly what their MO is here. So yeah, I don't know, I've kind of transitioned. I do like the taste of uni here. I wave to a fish while I pick up a toy. There's always some goodies down there. But yeah, my flavor palette is changing. I'm starting to like uni, so I think I'm going to start doing my part too to make up for the sheephead that I got. So I grab a couple more uni here. More sea urchin. And another octopus right here. I think this is so sick. I went and I said hi, and he spit at me. And there's a little minnow that said, "Oh my God." He stopped by and he wanted to see what the beef was about, but then I shooed him away. But yeah, how can you not have fun? This is unbelievably beautiful. It is just so amazing to get out there. This is me just kind of cruising around. I already had my 3 fish. You can see a big calico down there, a big opal eye. But yeah, like I said, I had my fish, and here's a sea slug, just petting him, saying howdy to you. And actually, when I zoomed in there, you can see a little baby sheep crab in the back. I thought that was so cool. A couple months ago, on this same jetty, I found, I think it was the biggest sheep crab I've ever caught in my life. So it's good to know that, yeah, there's tons of life out here. And yeah, this is a sea cucumber. I might do a cooking video on this one day, but I grabbed it and it started to balloon up and it weirded me out, so I dropped her. And regarding the tongue-eating louse in my last video, I said that it starved the fish from the inside out. It turns out that it only eats the mucus and the blood. It does eat the tongue, and it was not a barred surf perch, but a zebra perch. So I just wanted to make those corrections. And some cool comments I got. Jordan said, what would happen if a human put it on their tongue? It is highly inadvisable, and it probably would make a painful wound. I wouldn't eat that either. I wouldn't eat the tongue-eating louse either. I don't know. I've seen a video of some dude doing it. It's pretty nasty. And that's yikes. That's yikes for me. But this guy says it's like shooting a deer that has a tick after you skin it. It's not a problem. That's a great analogy. Does not affect the meat at all. It's just really gross and weird. And this guy says parasitic or symbiotic. It didn't look starving. It actually had some weight on it. And I said, you know what? That's actually a really good point. I have my hands and my hips. But then this guy said a symbiotic relationship would mean it provides some benefit. So it's parasitic, not symbiotic. And threw my hands up and I said, well, I don't even freaking know anymore. And then this lady, she has some awesome videos. She said, howdy from Florida. I will definitely be going to Florida soon. My editing will get better. Thank you guys, and I hope you have a nice week.